Hey everyone, I'm Liz Benny. I am from Christchurch, New Zealand, and I met this man through a Facebook advert.
Facebook works, right? When was that?
Oh goodness, I think April, May, ish.
And when did you sign up for the Inner Circle?
It was pretty much a week after the 108 Secrets arrived in my mail. A week later, I was in your coaching program.
This stuff works, right, you guys? So you bought the 108 split test. A week later, you applied, got the coaching program, and the rest is history.
Yep.
Okay. So I want to talk about, so the first time, so we had our first initial intake call through Skype, and talk about what your goals were then.
Okay, so I want every single person here to hear the real story, because I totally understand that everyone has hopes and dreams and goals and like want to be a gazillionaire, and you've got these ideas around what you want to make and like how it's going to look, but then like it's nothing like you think it's going to look, right? And so it's just like you think it's going to look a certain way. And I want to give you as much of that journey as possible so that you can actually, I guess, prepare in a different way. So my dreams at the beginning, Russell, you say like to take like the intake paper, right? You say take 30 minutes to write out what your hopes and dreams and all that sort of stuff. You know, I took 4 hours to actually, and I remember sitting there and I blubbered my whole way through. I bawled my eyes out on the phone, and I'm going to be really honest and really raw here, because I believe that by doing so I can actually serve you all more in so doing. So this man has heard me cry more than many men. And I think I also made him cry. Oops.
She's mean. Anyway.
But so I really was 100% clear that like this guy was my last hope. Like I wanted so much to be successful, and if Russell couldn't help me, literally no one could. So I took 4 hours at the beginning and really got clear that I wanted to make a lot of money, because the more money I make, the more people I can help, and that's like period, right? So I just wanted to make a lot of money to help a lot of people, but I had to get through a lot of my own stuff to be able to do that. So I had one, it's not a brick and mortar business, but I had one business prior to starting this, and my fear was that Russell would tell me to do the thing that he actually told me that I needed to do.
Well, we got, she's like, this is the direction I'm going. She explained everything. And I was just like, that's not the direction you need to be going. And sometimes as a coach, like that's what you have to do, is just like, that sounds nice, but like, because you wanted to go, she wanted to do like network marketing, affiliate marketing, and promote all this other stuff. And I'm like, you are an amazing, like, we need to get you on a pedestal and put you out there, because like your story and your personality and stuff is contagious. Like you guys will get to know her more this weekend, but like you want to be around her and talk to her when you get to know her. And like, you need to put you out there. And I don't think you wanted to do that at first.
It was because I knew that was part of it. Like I knew that was going to come, but I mean, there was a network marketing thing there, but my heart and soul wasn't in that, because it's not really what I wanted to do. But it was more that the exact course that Russell told me that I needed to create was the exact course that I didn't want to create. But he was like, we're going to make t-shirts, right? So there's got to be a t-shirt. Listen to what Russell says and you will make money. Like your bank account will grow, or something like that, right? So I listened to him, and everything came to fruition.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So talk about, because the first thing you had to do is you actually had to create the offer stuff we just went through. Like you had to go, and you spent, like usually on me, I'm kind of lazy and I'll sell it and then we start fulfilling afterwards, right? But you went through and built the whole thing. So maybe talk about that process and how long it took you and those kind of things.
Okay, so after our first intake call, like in my mind, and this is the stuff that I wanted to kind of explain. So in my mind, it was going to be like the first call, and then within a month, boom, I was going to be like making gazillions.
Oh yeah, she's like, you're the overnight success maker. So we're going to make, I need 50 grand in 30 days from now. I'm like, whoa, like, all right.
But in saying that, I had said to him that I wanted to be one of your greatest success stories, right? So I actually set myself like you know, I need to make this happen. So I was driving myself really, really, really hard. But straight off that call, Russell, you know, he'd given me homework, and I think I'd pretty much done it all within an hour, right? So he said, go away and work out exactly what your offer is, right? So I worked out, I was like, okay, so it's about 11 modules, and I got it right back to you, and you got right back to me. So and then you got me through like the perfect webinar. You'd done a perfect webinar thing. So, and then I think I downloaded that, or like I just watched it like over and over and over, and then within like a week I had my first version of my perfect webinar keynote or PowerPoint presentation. I think I forwarded that to you, and you were like, you actually said it's perfect, but you're a little light on the stack, and I was like, I don't want to.
It was embarrassing. I don't want to do it.
I don't want to. Like, and then there's more, and then there's more, and then there's more. So I didn't want to like, but it really does work. But I promise to you that you'll feel uncomfortable the first time you do the stack. Yeah. So you gave me some feedback. So. I needed to do that, and also you told me that I needed to do some more. You said I was a bit light on the closes as well, so I had to put a couple more of those. I just copied yours.
That's awesome. So did you get the webinar first or the content first? I can't remember.
So I did the webinar first, having worked out what the content of the modules was going to be. So I didn't create the modules until I'd created the whole webinar. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then I just started creating the modules themselves. There's work in those.
How long did it take you to make those?
So it took me longer than I wanted it to, because I had to, it's not just, you know, going, I want to teach people these things. It's I want to teach people these things, and then I've got to work out how to use ScreenFlow, and then I've got to work out, like, you know, how to transfer this information, how to video edit. And I was like, I don't want to video edit, so I need to find someone to video edit. And so it was, I had some personal things going on as well during that whole period of time. I was homeless for a while, and so there was, I mean, it was probably about a month and a half. So I went live and started selling my course with, I think, 6 modules of the 11 completed. And then I started to panic because the rest of them said coming soon. I'm like, oh, I need to go really, really fast now.
He's done now. That's cool. Okay, let's talk about, so when you first, so you got, the content was partly done, you got the webinar done, and the first round you were driving traffic yourself through Facebook, right? Does that happen the very first time?
No, Mike, you were on my first one, right? You drove traffic to my first webinar?
No, the first one you did, remember you had like 2 people on.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I ran a solo ad, and I tanked.
Hold on, this is the funny, wait, so in my memory, I might be wrong, but I remember first when you drove some Facebook ads,
yeah,
you had like 2 people showed up, and you messaged me afterwards like, only 2 people showed up, but it was so much fun, and I did it, and then people gave me good feedback, and I didn't sell anything, and you were super like on fire and excited, right?
That's right, yep.
And then like, she's like, how should I grow this? And I was like, I'm trying to think, I'm like, well, try solo ads. And so she went and bought some solo ads, and she's like, did you get like 700 or 800 people registered? And you were like, oh, I'm so excited. And she's voxing me, okay, tonight I'm doing the presentation, it's gonna be happening. And then and the presentation's starting, I knew. And then like 15 minutes later, I get a message back, and she's in tears, like yelling at me, like, nobody showed up.
I was not yelling.
I heard her yelling, it hurt me. But like, talk about how that, because I was talking to Richard about, because he went through the same thing where he had a bunch of people registered and like a small amount show up. You had no show up. Wasn't there none that came on that one?
I sent you a screenshot of the GoToWebinar thing, which says one person on. It was me. It was, and I need to explain. There was a lot of contextual stuff. Like, we all come to this with our stories, right? We've all got our reasons why we want to make a lot of money. So I want to make a difference, and at that time I was living out of somebody else's home, because in Christchurch we had really bad earthquakes 3 years ago. So I was out of my house because it was getting earthquake repairs, and it was an incredibly tumultuous year last year. Like, I think you've seen me write it in the Facebook group. Like, there were a lot of personal downs, like people in hospital, there's cancer, there's a lot of yuck that went on last year. So that moment, it was like, oh, today, it's going to be the day, because all these people, and I was like, because I'd looked at your statistics, and I was like, well, you know, Russell's goofy, I'm goofy, I followed his script, right? It's to a T. I'm going to make it today. And I remember, you know, getting prepared. I'm online in somebody else's home. They're at work, and I'm hoping nobody's going to show up. Or I've taken the phone off the hook in their house. As much as possible, I've just, you know, just tried to be prepared for it. I've gone over and over and over, and honestly, I bawled my eyes out. I stayed online for like 10 minutes, hoping someone would turn up, like after the start time, and like nobody showed up, and like that for me was like, oh wow, like how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna? It just felt a really lonely place, because I was like, I've invested so much time, energy, money into this now. I just need it to work. Like it must work. I remember driving up the hill. I turned my mindset around in about an hour, but I was pretty bummed after that.
Yeah. Now, from that point, how many months had you been working on Soul Process when that one happened?
2 months. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so then let's talk about, because that was like was that the lowest point, you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
And so I want one major reason I wanted this, you guys, is because I want you guys to understand that like this stuff's not like, a lot of times it's not just like boom, I'm a ton of money overnight. Like it's a journey, especially. And what's so impressive about Liz is like the personal battles she was dealing with were not little things; they were intense things. And for her, like daily, to get hit with this stuff and then stand back up and keep going, and then boom, and then the frustrations from the business part, but then also the personal life. And most people stop. Most people give up and don't keep going through. And if nothing else, I want that to inspire you guys, because that's like, she's a winner. And I want you guys all to be winners. And you can't let the external things keep you down, because you're like that far. And like at the point where she was like the lowest, like how far were you? Like it wasn't more than a week or two later before it started working, right? Do you want to talk about? Sorry, the transition though, because I think that I know for me, I look at the times in my business where I've really struggled, and it's the same thing where it's just like, can it get any worse? It's just a thing after thing. And you guys know some of our backstory with our company. We got to the point where we were like, we lost all of our merchant accounts. Half our team, more than half, just walked out on us. We had to like leave our building without, you know, all this stuff started happening. It was just like thing after thing after thing where you're just like, there's nothing more I can do. And then like one step further is like, boom, is where it all starts coming back. And I know that's what kind of happened with you. Want to talk about the next, more exciting part of it?
There's a lot of lessons that I've learned along the way, and one of them really, really, really is to, yes, you've got to use a lot of logic. You've got to think your way through. You've got to listen and make really, really good sound decisions, but you've got to trust your gut. You simply have to. So I did something that I am truly grateful for, and it was weird, or as we say in New Zealand, weird, right? It was really, really, really weird, because I had met a guy on Facebook, and he's in the back there, Mike Nelson. He is one of the coolest cats ever, right? So him and I had met in part of another, like a Facebook course, right? So it was all about CPA advertising, Facebook advertising, you know, making $100,000 per day and all this cool stuff. Now I'd gone through that course, and then like I'd already invested $2,000 on that course, and then you came along. I'm like, oh man, another $25,000. Sure, okay, here we go. But there was a reason, and it was a really hard decision really hard but really easy decision to actually send the money to you, because I knew in my heart of hearts that it would just change everything. And I knew that deep, deep, deep inside. But then like Mike and I became friends on Facebook by virtue of being in this other course together. And I saw all his posts on Facebook, and I was like, it was almost like you just know that you're supposed to know someone, right? So you just like, and I remember Mike, your posts keep coming up on Facebook, and I'm like, I need to message that guy. It was almost like, you know, just message that guy, and I'm like, hey, do you want to like meet up on Skype sometime and just talk business stuff? And like, we're both in this program. And from that, like it really got cool after that, right, Mike? Like we've had a lot of fun together, a lot of cool, like that was one of the big hurdles for me to get over because I had no name, like nobody knew this crazy Liz Benny, like you knew that I was a crazy crazy Kiwi, but nobody knew me, and what I knew was, even though I don't want to necessarily be, you know, known, but in order to help people you need to be known, right? So I had no list, no name, and traffic really was the big issue, right? And you know how we were talking about no list? Like, it was like the whole Apple, and that thing was the really hard thing for me to go, but Russell. So in my mind I was like, but Russell, I've done everything. Like, come on, like it's game on now. Like, what do I do now? Like, the webinar's done, everything's done now. Like, where's the on switch? And it was like I couldn't find the on switch. But then when the traffic started to come through, it literally was like, it's like the conversions just started to come. And then just like with your funnel hacks thing, it's like every single lesson that you learn along the way, you can tweak the webinar as you go. Like, I'm on probably version 10 of the webinar now, like with all the tweaks and changes.
Yeah. So talk about the very first one you did where you made a sell. I'm sure you remember that day.
Can you remember it?
I remember that day. I was freaking out. I was so excited.
So
I should like pre-got all the Voxers out and let everyone hear them out. It would have been really fun.
Actually, like,
here's where Liz yelled at me.
No, that was on Skype. That was on Skype.
Oh, no.
I didn't yell. I did not yell at Russell Brunson. I did make him cry, but I did not yell at him. So I'm a Virgo, so I'm innately a perfectionist. So it's all or nothing is my personality. So you were probably more stoked for me than I was. I was like, the conversions were kind of good, and you were like, Liz, they're really good. And I'm like, oh yeah, but you're like, stop it, like be really.
Like, you need to stop analyzing this and celebrate. This is amazing. Like you created something, you put it out there in the world, and people saw it and they responded and they gave you money, and now you can serve the and. Yeah, I was like, you need a party, you need to celebrate. This is a huge deal. It's not small.
And then I started freaking out that everybody would ask for a refund. And then remember me asking you that? I was like, did you ever come across a time where you'd like, all I was waiting for past that point, I was like, I need to get people past the 30 days. So I was like, oh. So that's actually where the whole community thing started to come. And I really started to go, right, I really, really need to ensure that people feel valued, people feel special. Because you know how you said to me, did I do it on purpose, the whole monkey thing? Mm-hmm. That's really where that came from. If you want to explain that to people, because I think that would help people.
You should explain it.
But you've got a cool concept.
All right.
Or a cool, because you saw it and you were like, did you do that on purpose?
Yeah, she's got like her community, and they all call themselves, what do they call them,
the monkeys.
The monkeys, yeah. They're like we're the monkeys, and they, because her web is social media or social.
Monkey business.
Yeah, my brain. Social monkey business. And so in their community, everyone calls each other monkeys. It's similar to like what Natasha's done with hers with like the branding community. Like I don't know if you met Natasha. You guys are gonna hit it off, but I went to her event, and like everyone at her event that are tattooing her like logos all over them, like same like the community, and hers is the same way, like they're all these together and they're monkeys and they all hang out. It's like the funnest. Anyway, so she invited me to this group, and I'm like, there's all these amazing people in there, and it's cool. It's like in her training, she teaches like, go get a logo. So they all get logos and they're all posting them, and like, so in my newsfeed I see these like all these like women logos, and I was like, what is this? And I'm like, oh, so it's Liz's group, and it's so cool seeing all these guys progress, and I think what's probably cool on your side maybe is like seeing these guys have success, right? Is that like?
I love that.
Almost better than even your own success, right?
Oh, I love that. Like, it's really fun. So in my webinar, I sell a lot with me, like with my personality. So, so I actually say to people genuinely that I actually genuinely care about them and their results. And people love, because that's part of the reason why I know that you care for me and my results. You don't look at me like I'm $25,000. You look at me as if, you know, I'm a person that you can help, and like, this ripple effect is helping more, like, in, you know, it's so seeing people's wins is absolutely amazing. Like, I was lying in bed 2 o'clock this morning, wide awake, and I'm looking through my Facebook, and I'm like, whoa, cool, somebody's got a client by virtue of being through my course, and I love that stuff, I really do.
That's so cool. Now, how many times, so after you had your first successful one, how many times have you done the webinar since then? And
Mike, like 10 times, right? Probably, yeah.
So this is what I want all you guys to do too. So my favorite thing is when she gets off every webinar, she Voxes me, and then she'll be like, oh, another one came in. Oh, another one came in. Oh, another, and it's like the most fun thing. I want you guys doing that to me as well, because it's like my favorite things. And then I forward, I don't know if you knew this, but like in Voxer, you can forward messages. So I forward that to our entire team. I'm like, Liz got another one, check this out. And everyone's like celebrating our side. Because for you, just like for you, like your biggest joy is like seeing them celebrate. Like for us, like when you and when all you guys have your wins, like that's like it for us. Like I want everyone in our office to know that, because it makes what we're doing real. And I'm sure that's how you feel too. It's like, this is real. You're affecting people.
So this is where I can tell you, and Mike, you don't know this yet, this is where I can tell you something else really, really cool, is that as I flew over from New Zealand to Australia to LA, I think sometime when I was in the on a flight, like another sale came in, and then literally another sale came in last night, and we haven't driven traffic for like a month now, right? So I don't even know how these people, like, really? So it's really kind of fun when you get to see that, and because everything's sort of plugged in now, I know that they're getting access to the course, and I don't have to do anything yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. What questions do you guys have for Liz?
Break over the Christmas New Year period. So the people that are purchasing right now, they must have, like, I might have been in their email inbox, or I haven't been driving any traffic. I have been doing the odd Facebook post, but nothing to, I haven't been doing any income generating stuff over the last month. So part of the funnel is, like, I'm using ClickFunnels, of course. You should all use ClickFunnels. Here's my affiliate link.
/Liz.
We should set that up. I'm on your homepage, right? It's like my URL. So I have two versions of my replay that I send as part of my follow-up series. One, this is all by virtue of what Russell's told me to do. So the first one is a webinar replay where they can't skip ahead. So they can buy, right? But they can't skip ahead. They have no controls over whether they can stop it, but they can't skip to the close. But then replay number 2, they can actually they can do whatever they can make me go faster if they want. They can, if they want to make me go faster. But yeah.
Through, yeah.
Yeah. Does that answer that question? So they purchased off the back of a replayed webinar.
A lot of times happens, we have people too that'll want it and they'll start saving the money and they'll call us like a month later and like, hey, can I buy it now? So that could be, I'm going in and out. So that could happen as well.
Yeah.
What are the questions?
Okay, so the very first one where Mike and I worked together, we drove, and Mike, you're going to talk more about this too, I'm guessing, but we had 382 webinar registrants, and 78 people attended.
So
that was, yeah, so 20%, yeah. So that one there we sold 4. Oh, and this is something cool. So I sold 4 at $997, but something that I had zero concept of this, and I don't know why, but I had zero concept of this before my very first one. So I was like, $997, sweet, that's my price point. Well, what about people who can't afford $997 and who need a pay plan? I had not considered them at all. So people were on my webinar, and I'm totally bluffing as I'm going because these questions start to come in. And by the way, all the haters started to come in too, like, you're full of what the do you think? So I'm sitting there with all these, remember that too?
Oh, yeah.
And that's another one where I was bawling my eyes out, oh, Russell, they don't like me.
I'm like, you made 30, or I think it was like, she made like $12,000. She had all these people excited. One person's like heckling her, and I'm like, she said, I'm going to change my whole webinar. I'm going to change it. I'm like, no, like, these people love you. One person's a jerk. Everyone else loves you. Like, just stick with it. Don't move.
Yeah, I know. So one thing I started very, very quickly after that was I put my different price points in. So I just asked Russell what I should do. So we've got the 2 by 547 and then 3 by 397, right? And then after that, this is something that I chose to do, and I don't even know if you have or would ever do this because it's a little bit labor intensive, but I genuinely want to help people. So I even put a lower price point than that in, and nobody in the course like knows that anyone else has actually received this, but I put a 247 one time, like buy now for 247. And whenever I've offered that, like every single time they've purchased. And it's not because, it's genuinely because they're like, Liz, like I'm a single mom and I've got these kids. I just want to make a difference and I want like something better for my kids. And I'm like, I'm crying. Do you want, like, what difference does it make to me, right? So, and what I actually worked out was, because of the number of times I've actually offered that 247 payment, like there's, I don't know, like an extra 12,000, I don't know, like there's a lot of money that's come in as a result of offering that. And yeah, so that's kind of cool. Yep.
What did you spend on the on that webinar for 300 and so many attendees?
For Facebook advertising, I don't want to step on Mike's toes too much because Mike will be talking about this, but in that particular one, Facebook advertising costs for that one were $1,000.
Cost $1,000, you made $4,000.
Yeah. Well, yeah, 4, yeah, and then plus two.
Plus the
two other ones, yeah. So, who wants to see my slides?
Who wants to see them?
Okay.
Did you have the plug or did you?
Yeah, I'll chuck it in now. Do you think I should just do it?
You want to pitch them and sell these guys?
No, no, I do not. No.
Who here's watched her presentation? Like 1,000,000 times. I think most people found it and watched it to learn from it.
I did that for him, right? Should I do it by PDF or Keynote?
Whatever's easier, doesn't matter. Yeah, do Keynote and do auto. There you go.
Perfect. Okay. So I've had to. Well, do you just want me to quickly go through this and explain kind of as I'm going? Is that
Sure.
cool? I don't want to steal thunder at all.
Yeah.
So I copied Russell's High Ticket Secrets webinar as much as I humanly could. Like I literally zoomed right in to see what words he'd actually written on his, and I was like, cool, those are cool words, and I was just writing out those words. And I actually, for the very first couple of webinars, I had the exact same Starbucks image, and I have the exact same words as well, and I think it's in this one here too. So, so this is the one, this is my most recent one, which was the most successful one so far. And this has got all the tweaks and some of the learnings that you had off of the back of your Final Hacks things, like some of the tweaks in there too. So I'm going to go through super fast here. So how to easily, so I welcome everyone and all that sort of stuff. So my mission, so I make my webinars really personal so that people actually get a real feel for like who I am and that I actually, can I swear here?
Sure.
So I actually do say that I give a shit. Like I really do, I really care about people's results. And when people feel that, I don't know, like I personally know that that's had something to do with my sales. So my mission, I tell them my mission, and this is kind of like the hook to the end too. It's like selling them the dream of becoming a 6-figure social media manager where they can work from cafes and all that sort of stuff, like talking about the end and like, selling the dream to create 100 6-figure social media managers. And that's actually off the back of something else too that I was like, whoa, that's successful. That's very cool. So my question to you, and this is all based on the script, would you love to be one of them? And then they start thinking about becoming a 6-figure social media manager and what makes us different. And this is where I say, look, I know you guys have been to tons and tons and tons of webinars, but basically, like, what makes us different is that I am a social media manager right now, and I am still to this day. Like, I manage people's profiles back home in New Zealand. So today I'm letting you in on the inside of my life as a social media manager, and unlike most gurus online, this is actually something that I took from another webinar, and this is from a network marketing webinar. These things here, I was like, oh, that's good. I'm going to take that. That's really, really good. So I actually didn't get that from you, but I loved that. I fell in love with it. So then I actually talk about, like, I prove that I'm actually talking from a place of I know what I'm saying. So this is Ross, and I say, look, meet Ross. Ross is one of my clients, and do you like winning? Stay to the end because I give away some cool stuff at the end. The only thing I'm giving away at the end is 30 minutes with me for them to kickstart their business. So that the Fast Start bonus. I tried giving away other stuff like Amazon vouchers, and Mike and I, we had a bit of a drama with that. There was one lady who decided to one word in our Facebook ad said, you know, show up and like we're giving away $100 Amazon vouchers for anyone that shows up for the webinar. And she copied and pasted that and sent it to me. She goes, I want my voucher, my Amazon card. I'm like, oh, I need to give her that. So that wasn't ideal. Anyway, do you like winning? If you stand till the end, hi, I'm Liz Benny. I tell them, you know, I tell them, like I show them that I'm a real person. For those that don't know me, and this, I looked at like Amy Porterfield stuff too and really wanted people to know that I'm not just, I know my stuff, but I also appeal to the side of people where they've been through the struggle. Like you don't have to go through the struggle. And it's all what you do too. Like, here's a story. Jenga Social, 2 years ago, I started from scratch, had a really yucky year. Do you want to look at my screen here? Had a really yucky year, didn't like it, cracked the code. And the whole crack the code thing was like, this is all your terminology as well, right? I cracked the code.
Cracked it.
And by the way, the photos that I put of me in here, like, I don't know why, but people seem to love me being really, really goofy. Like, I've actually got a thing up my nose in there. People, I just try to entertain people as much as possible on the webinar. So I'm just like you, so and this is what you do too. I'm just like, if people think that you're up here and they're down here, they'll never purchase because you're too, it's too much for them. I've done a lot of things right, I've done a lot of things wrong. Have you seen these words before?
Yeah, it's familiar.
So in the beginning it sucked. Seen that before? Yeah. So, and this is the backstory. I used to drive this car that has a garden of its own. Then I created a foolproof system. Now I've got a question for you. So this is literally, you can probably look at where I am on the webinar script right now and know exactly where I am. So in the past year we've profited, so I take it back to edifying. Results are not typical. Got to say that. 3 secrets. So I try to get through the first part really fast and then move into these 3 secrets as fast as possible. So I'm just going to go through these. You don't need to, like, basically this is just the story, and then secret number 2. You can see that secret number 1 was actually quite fast, but I talk really, really fast, as you probably know from being on the webinar. Secret number 2, you don't need to be an expert. And secret number 3, right? And then this is basically, this is the turning point here, like right now, like where I'm at my lifestyle capacity. I don't want to take on any more clients right now. And then, yeah, so this is where I'm saying, well, if it's okay with you, I'd love to show you my little baby, which is here. Before which I'm saying you don't have to go through the first year of tears, the stress, the feeling alone. And so many people have actually purchased because they've said to me, I didn't want to feel alone. And that's the cool part about having the Social Monkey Business community too, because they're all like, wow, I'm part of something now. Like you see it in the Facebook group. I love being part of this group. It's really cool. So Social Monkey Business, I bought that logo from Graphic River. I sorted out my brand in all of, I don't know, half an hour, which was really cool. So what's in the course? So what's in the course module 1? Should I tell them about that? You know how you see, like, yeah? Yeah. So this is one little secret. This is the first time that I've done this, but in the bottom left-hand corner here, what I did was, they can't see me on the webinar, but I wanted to make sure that they could see me whilst I was pitching to them, right? So I'm smiling at them on every single slide. So I was like, I'm gonna try this. So I just put a picture of myself smiling at them, yeah, through every single one. So module 2, I take them through every single thing, how to kill it. Module 7, module 8, headaches, reporting back to clients. And this is where I just really tell them that it's real and I care about them. In the past hour, oh, that is an exact like rip from Russell, exact rip. You'll love it. I think that's even yours. And then this is just 100% copying his style. But of course, he doesn't use pink because he's a boy. So this is, here you'll get the stack. Full access. This is a little addition that I did because I'm a very visual person, so I'd take people through step by step. I wanted people to see the vastness from a module point of view of what they were going to get. Then then bonus 1, conversion sucked. I tell the story behind that. This is the winner. So, so the first stack. I'm just going to zoom through this really fast in case you guys are bored. So I have $12,226 worth of value there. And then again, I appeal to them saying, I want you set up for success. And I genuinely mean that. Like, I actually don't just want to sell for the sake of selling. I want them to be successful. And then these are just copying Russell. Honestly, copying Russell. 30-day guarantee, copying Russell. That's
an image you stole from me.
Uh-huh.
Just kidding. I stole from Google Images. So.
And then I had to make them, because my market was female, I had to make them, I had Lay About Lisa, and then I was like, as I was on the first webinar, I was like, I hope nobody on this webinar is called Lisa right now. So I'm like, I'm not trying to cause offense. Only a post. That was a bad joke. And then this is where I started to learn the whole, the payment plan thing. And then when I started to get testimonials, that's when I started to put them in here. And Russell's used my testimonial, and I actually started to copy your style for the testimonial thing there too. Still wondering if this works, because that was actually, yeah, but is this going to work? And like, I just wanted to prove that it actually works. Back office, look on the inside. And then this slide here is a direct rip from yours.
Yeah, we had on our last slide, every single time, like, people are like, what's the offer again? What's the offer again? And like, after like 4 webinars, me like repeating the offer a million times, I'm like, you know what? Why don't I just put like a little picture on the last slide? And then that question disappeared. It was so great.
And then I stay on that slide for 45 minutes just answering questions, like Frank Kern.
Very cool.
And that's it.
What do you guys think? A round of applause. Cool. Any other questions you guys have for Liz while we got her on the hot seat?
By the way, the very first time I did the webinar, I had a sheet of paper with fake names with fake questions beside me. Like I was like, oh, great question, Peter, look. So just for everyone, Peter asked, I'm like, sorry, I totally recommend doing that. Because
I still do that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
you will
cool.
see when I do my pitch today, you guys, I've got like 15 questions I ask that I act like I'm getting from the audience, but they're the same ones every time because I know what the questions are going to be.
Yep.
Yeah.
So mine are, because I have a crazy accent, they ask things like, is this relevant to Canada or Australia or the rest of the world, right? So, you know, the obvious thing there is, well, social media is worldwide, but that's always a question that comes up in their mind. Or, you know, is the market for social media management the same in America as it is in New Zealand? Well, of course it is, right? So, but, you know, things are going to be a little bit different along the way. So is this course relevant to me based on my demographic location? Do I get lifetime access? It's do I get updates? What's your refund policy? Some people ask that. So you've always, even though you've said it, you need to say it again. And be really clear and confident and go, yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's a 30-day money-back guarantee. Now the next question is, I don't spend a lot of time answering that question. What are the other predictable ones? They ask questions about how in-depth my course is in the various social networks. So the course that I've done, it's actually not about being a social media manager and knowing every single social network to the nth degree, because they're all changing all the time. And for one business, you know, it might be Twitter and LinkedIn that's required, and another business it's just Facebook. But the focus of my course is actually around creating a lifestyle as a social media manager. So if they want to create a really kick-ass lifestyle as a social media manager, I show them how to do that. And so the course is everything, but it's focused on their lifestyle too. Yeah, So the first question is, they've got some interest in and around, so with targeting with Facebook advertising, we're targeting people who have an interest around social media. So some of them are unsuccessful social media managers. A lot, I've had probably, 10 people say to me, oh, I've tried social media, but I just don't have a system. So people have actually come to me for the system that I've actually put together, because they hear my story of struggle and they're like, oh, I'm struggling. So that's why they buy the system. And in terms of targeting, Mike and I have got it down to a T. It's really just targeting, it's the female, really understanding the target market. And I'm sure he's going to talk a lot about targeting and really understanding to the nth degree. The sales are coming from there they are right there. So you just send traffic to those people there. Did that answer your question?
I'll wait and I'll ask him.
I'm sorry, I'm running on 2.5 hours sleep right now. So the half-hour coaching call, I give that to the first 5 people, and admittedly other people too, if they're cool on it, because I love those 30-minute sessions. because they're my ability to actually really connect on a personal level with people. So but it's like I sell it and I pitch it as, this is seriously like, I can honestly say that the people that have got that 30-minute session with me are the people who have propelled their business forward faster, because it's like, because I work one-on-one with you, it just helps you get that much closer to your goal faster, right? So, and it's the same thing. So I can actually pitch it and go, people who have this 30-minute session, they win, period. And that was one of my big goals with the whole Social Monkey business community as well on Facebook, is like, there is that connection thing. Like a couple of people, I've actually let people into that Facebook group, even though it's exclusive. I've let people in, and then people have purchased by virtue of seeing the way I actually do care. Like I follow up with integrity. Like I don't just say I care, I do care, which is what you do. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you. Yeah, I did split test it. So I was in Russell's beta, or you say beta testing. So I was in the former version of ClickFunnels, and we did split testing on that one, and we tried the ugly blue one, but it didn't work. But yes, we were split testing, and the conversions of the first ones were kind of cool, but then so the answer is yes, we split tested, and there was a hands down winner, and we're ClickFunnels is telling us we're getting 57.5% opt-in on that webinar right now. But
it's you with your personal face video, right?
Yeah, and that has a lot to do with sending targeted traffic too. It's not like we're just trying to, it's like what you talk about, like you're fishing in the pool that you want to pull people from. So the webinar registration page, the one that's up right now, if anyone's going to that, it doesn't have a video of me at the moment, because I have to change the video out, and Facebook are looking at it right now. So I had to change the video out. So, but all the words that are on the webinar registration page are current right now. So the PowerPoint thing that you were talking about, sorry, I don't know.
I know her question, because she did a PowerPoint video.
Oh, I see. Got it. So the video is me holding an iPhone and talking to the iPhone. So the video that I shot, I do all of my videos really real time, because I find that that gets really good engagement. Just like
especially with social network, like that's people, like you think about, John and I had this conversation yesterday or a couple days ago about Facebook ads. Like half you guys, when you talk to John, you're like, where do I get my stock pictures for my ads? And he's like, stock pictures don't work. Like pictures of work is like Russell laying there in his chair with my phone, and like stupid stuff like that is what in social media that's what people respond to. So that's what you got to do. Like anyway, less professional, more just like you being you.
Thank you. By the way, I did that completely and utterly on purpose. Like I didn't want a corporate brand. And I wanted something that people could easily fall in love with. They weren't intimidated by at all. It didn't, like it's pink. It's, yeah. So thank you very much. That's cool.
All right, one last question for you, then I'll take you off the hot seat.
Cool.
So for those who are in the process right now, and some are beginning, some are in the middle, some are just did a webinar and it did all right or didn't do, like what would you say for people that are in the process right now that want to get to where you're at now, where now that things are working, everything's cranking, like what do you think?
I don't know any, like everyone's stories. I know we've all got a story, and we've all got pain, and we've all got personal stuff. We've all got hassles and struggles and everything. And I can guarantee you, like I don't want to get teary at all up here, but last year was hell from a personal point of view. And if I can make it through and like come out the other side shining, anyone can. So it's just the whole concept of, like, seriously, you will have the darkest, most yucky days. You will want to give up. You will want to pull your hair out. You'll probably go grey. But stick with it and keep believing in yourself. And listen to this guy. If he says cross your T in a certain way, you blimmin' well do that, right? Yeah, and don't be like, one of my big things was, don't be scared to try different things and push beyond all of your fears. Like for me, like reaching out to someone to run my traffic, I was like, no, I'll do it all myself. And I'm like, oh wait, we both win this way. That's cool. Like I genuinely, like that guy, he's a dude. I met him for the very first time
a few minutes ago, right?
A few minutes ago.
That's cool.
Like period. I think he's cool. Yeah, so that's it. So just have at it. Go, go, go.
And the last thing I want to say, can I say one more?
Oh, there was one person over there.
Oh yeah, question.
Secretively, very
People
secretively.
contact you directly, right?
So that one there, it's I didn't even realize what I'd done when I first started doing that, but like I've got copy and I'm happy to share it with you. It's literally like the very first time I sent it to someone, it was like, Liz, I just want your course, but I can't afford it. Like, I'm not asking you for anything. And I was like, how can I not let this person in? So I wrote directly from my heart to this person. I was like, look, I'm going to do something crazier than crazy. And I think these are my words. I just want to let you in. Like, I really do care about your results, but you can't tell anyone. You just can't tell anyone. You have to promise me that. They all write back with, of course, I would never tell anyone. And, you know, I'm very clear, though, that at the 247 price point, there's no refund policy. That, like, you know, that before purchasing, I say, look, because of the heavily discounted, you get all of the $12,226 worth of value right here, one price point, but there's no refund policy on that one, and they all purchase.
And not a refund. That's cool. So my last thing I wanted to say was just the conversation I'm having with Liz lately, which is really fun. And one thing I really want to stress for you guys is a lot of times too, like you make your webinar and you try everything. It might not be a smashing success, but going through the process once, after you've done it once, it's like you can do it again anytime you want, right? She's like, Russell, I got an idea for another course. I can just, like, now I've done it, I know every single step in the order, and she can just do it again. And so if nothing else, like the biggest key for you guys that are in the process is get it all the way done once, because after you've done it once, it's really not that hard. Like, I can go and knock out of the webinar in an hour and I'm ready to rock and roll. Like, you can do the same thing. Like, after you've done it, it's really easy. But you got to do it once.
Oh my goodness, just quickly on that point, there's something that happens, like, when we all know the power of intention, like, and if you've never had an experience, you're like, oh wow, like you think about it and it's like the power of positive visualization. But once you've had the experience, like, you have this knowing that you can only have by virtue of having done it, right? So I've done it now, and I can do it's cool. Like, once you've done it, you have that experience of like, I can do anything now. I can go and rock it out. Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to bore anyone.
That's awesome. You guys give a round of applause. That's cool.